Well, good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Mindset, where we put on the mindset of a successful leader for a new week. Monday Morning Mindset, transformational leadership success. My name is John Boggs. I'm the CEO of the Brave Thinking Institute as well as the founder of its business and leadership division. And it's my great pleasure to be with you today as we put on the mindset of what great leadership looks like for our success for this week. And today is the day after Valentine's Day, and I've got a real personal story that I want to share with you, a story about getting fired and engaged to be married on the same day, happened to have been a Valentine's Day, and what I learned from the experience that has served my success over the last 27 years. So think about this. Here's the personal story. 27 years ago yesterday, Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. I walk into my boss's office and he sits me down and he said, "John, today is your last day as the sales manager of this team. We're going to let you go today." And I was heartbroken. Here it is, Valentine's Day, and I've been fired from my job. And I was heartbroken. On one level, it wasn't a surprise. I had been promoted 6 months earlier. The job was really a hot seat job. The 4 people that had the job before me had all been fired over the course of 6 months. It was a very challenging job. And I took the job, and over the course of 6 months, I could not figure out how to succeed. I was a young, new leader. Most of the people working on the team were older than me. My level of influence, my level of ability to diagnose what was going on and succeed was minimal as a young leader. And I had not figured out how to succeed, and so they were firing me. Now, with all due credit, the owner of the company who was firing me said, "We do appreciate your talent and skill. We'd like you to stay and work for the company, but we're going to relieve your position as the leader, and you can stay as one of the people working here." So I left work. I told them, let me think about it. I appreciate the offer. I'll give it some thought, and I left work. And while in that moment, from a career standpoint, my heart was breaking and I was sad. From a personal standpoint, there was this moment of clarity for me. So think about this for yourself. Have you ever been in a position where something that on one level looked devastating happened, and yet it provided clarity for you on what was truly most important to you? You see, that's where I found myself. When I was leaving that job, I thought, man, I just lost my job, and I was sad about that. And yet, I had been dating a woman that I was madly in love with. And in that moment, I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. And so I drove to where she was. She happened to be playing golf that day, which is one of the things that I love to do. That was one of the things I love about her. So I drove to the golf course. She got done playing golf. And I said 2 things to her. And this is literally how I asked her to marry me. I said, "Babe, I just got fired from my job, and I've got a question that I want to ask you." And I got down on one knee, and I said, "Will you marry me?" Now, I can't say that's the most romantic way to get engaged that's ever been done, but it was my way of doing it. And to my delight, she said yes. And so we hopped on a plane, and we flew. That was, of course, in those days, I was living in Cabo San Lucas. We hopped on a plane. We flew to L.A., where we went engagement ring shopping and had a great weekend, a great time together, very, very romantic, fun time. And I gave thought about what I was going to do. And I talked to her about, should I stay there? You know, if I walk back into that office, I used to be the boss. Now I'm, the ego part of me was saying, I'm just one of the salespeople there now, and I'm going to feel embarrassed. And there was a part of me that just had this sick feeling about doing that. And yet, here's the lesson that I learned. And yet, I listened to my intuition. So for you, as you think about your leadership, as you think about the moments in your life that were pivotal, this was a pivotal moment in my life. Do I go back, or do I leave and go somewhere, some other job, some fresh start somewhere? And here's what I knew. I knew that I deeply wanted to lead, that leadership was my true calling. And I knew this, if I stayed and I watched what the new leader did when he came in, I just might learn what I was doing wrong. I just might learn what I could figure out that would make the difference for my future, the difference in my long-term growth. So think about that for you. What can you do to continue to grow and learn so that you get better every day? I was more interested in getting better than I was protecting my ego. That was a key lesson for me. So I made the decision to go back. I went back and I watched the next leader who came in, and I watched what they did, and I watched the moves they made that were different than the moves that I made. I watched the way they influenced the team in ways I wasn't influencing the team. I watched the way they masterfully led that team to success. And I was able to pick up those lessons. Less than 2 years later, that gentleman made a decision to move. He moved back to the United States. And once again, they tapped me to have a new opportunity to lead that team. And over the next 20 years, I led that team successfully. I had learned those lessons. And I grew and I got promoted. And I wound up with a highly, wildly successful experience as a leader in that company because I was willing to swallow my ego and put learning and growing as a greater value to me than looking good. The best part of the whole story is yesterday, my wife and I, we're in our 26th year of marriage. We celebrated a great, great romantic Valentine's Day where I recounted the story of the day that I asked her to marry me and I got fired on that same day many, many years ago. So my encouragement to you, I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. I hope that you found, number one, love for yourself. And really the number one way that I practice love for myself in my life is by staying connected to my intuition. I truly listen to what my heart really wants. Put the ego aside. Make an intuitive move. That is what transformational leaders do. That's what you can do. So I've got a question for you. Have you ever been in a position where you listened to your intuition? You made a tough move, and today you're proud of what you did? Type it in the chat for me below. I'd love to read about it. I'd love to hear from you. Share this video as well with friends, family, those that you care about. Follow the channel, John Boggs Official, and I look forward to seeing you again for a future Monday morning mindset. Good job, transformational leader. Now go make it a great week. Bye-bye.